Hello there, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Football Manager Therapy. My name is Rich Owens, and today I'm joined by two very, very special people. For the audio listeners, one of them is not a member of the FM team, it's a guest. Dee is here. Dee is back.
Hello. I thought you were sacking me then, and I was worried.
This is a boardroom. Yeah, if you don't click the right things over the next few minutes, then off you go, my friend. Time to start looking for a new job. You're safe. You can say whatever you like, and I'm going to crumble. You're gonna be okay. You could take an aggressive tone with me, and I would immediately just cower back down.
I will bear these things in mind. Thank you.
I don't want you to. I don't think I could handle
you
taking an aggressive
tone. Not
yet.
yet.
No.
We'll give it time.
Give it half an hour or so. We'll see how we are. We'll see how we are. And we are also joined this week, friends. We're also joined. I promised a guest, and I have delivered. We have got RealLifeLukeFM on the podcast. Luke, hello, friend. How are we?
Hello. How are you, gentlemen? Great pleasure to be here with you after listening for many a year.
Oh, goodness.
Many a year?
Wow. Many a year, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
That's too many a year. I mean, doctors don't recommend it. They one tops, and then they try and wean you off. Like, you do a year of FMT, and then you get a prescription for 5-star potential or the FM show, and then you just get onto that and you leave us behind. And it's for the best. It's for the best for everybody involved. No, Luke, it's a genuine pleasure to have you on, man. Thank you so much for agreeing. As we often like to do with a guest, Luke. For the next 30 seconds, for however long you would like to, just in case there's anybody who is watching or listening to this podcast who doesn't know who you are, introduce yourselves to the people, Luke. The time is yours, the platform is yours. Who am you, and what are you all about?
Who am I? So, I am Real Life Luke FM. I am a new to the content creation scene, and certainly new to the streaming scene. I previously, and still do a little bit to this day, coach football in a real life capacity, not just on FM. But yeah, that's basically me, and sort of finding my feet in the content creation and the streaming world. Yeah, that's who I am basically. I've got a bit of a journeyman save going on at the minute with Wolves. We started out at Dorking Wanderers, worked our way through the leagues, and I find myself in the Premier League trying to fight for them their trophies and European spots in my 5th season now, I believe it is. So yeah, that's who am I.
That is who you are.
I have to put the hat on. I hope you understand. I have to. You brought them up. You brought up my enemies, my rivals. I'm happy that you're doing well with them, but no.
Certainly in better shapes at the minute, aren't they, West Brom? They're certainly in better shapes now.
We've won 2 games in a row. Never in my lifetime did I think I would see 2 wins in a row. It's marvellous stuff, but, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how real life football goes.
Yeah, we've won 2 games in a row. Some of us support clubs that haven't actually won 2 games all season yet, Dee. So, thank you. Thank you so much for that.
You don't even have positive points yet, do you?
We don't, and we're not going to. And I think, objectively, that's actually quite funny.
I think that's really funny. Yeah,
I think it's quite funny. I do. I think at the end of the season, if we don't get a "you tried really hard" trophy, like you know,
participation.
A little participation trophy, yeah. Just as you would definitely
most improved.
Yikes! Yeah, fun. So, I mean, look, if we were to scale it back, Luke, because we like to do with a lot of our guests, because as we were saying, kind of before we pressed record, your kind of journey into Football Manager content creation, there's a lot of stops on it. So as you mentioned, kind of the coolest thing about you, and I was really, really excited when I found this out, obviously a real life qualified coach.
Correct.
We touched very, very briefly before we pressed record on kind of the inspiration behind choosing to go down a coaching route, because as we all know, a lot of kids these days They get a copy of FIFA for Christmas and they go, "Oh, I want to be a professional footballer. That's going to be the coolest thing I could possibly do." Shockingly, if it doesn't work out for most kids. But you say your tendency was kind of coaching. Is that right to say? Is that kind of what the inspiration from games like Football Manager led you to coaching first?
That's correct. I was one of them kids that probably played a bit too much FIFA and thought this looks easy on the game as you're doing sort of Rabona flicks and all this type of thing, Croy step overs. But between myself and my brother Matthew, we both got FIFA and Football Manager. They were the two games that we got for Christmases or birthdays, and I was definitely the Football Manager nut, and ultimately sort of took a real interest in the gears and the workarounds and the tactical side of the game through playing Football Manager, and thought I'd actually quite like to pursue a career in this somewhere along the line, and really got into the game around about sort of 15, 16 years old, when you sort of come into them points of your young life and you have to make decisions on what you want to go and do. And yeah, I took a real interest in it. So I'm kind of like that Will Still era of Football Manager inspired me to go into sort of that real life coaching environment then. So, and I was obviously never going to make it as a footballer because I couldn't do the Rabona flick and I couldn't do the Cruyff step over. So yeah,
they are really hard though. So
they are difficult. Yeah, they are difficult.
They are tricky. They are tricky. In all fairness, I mean look, we you say you're never going to make it as a footballer. I've seen the provisional squads for this summer's tournaments, and I was shocked to see my name wasn't on them. So I think it's never too late to give up any hope. Never too late.
No, definitely not.
So I mean,
what was your first FM? Out of curiosity, what are your earliest FM memories?
So my earliest FM memories, really, I'm probably, well, I'm 37, so my sort of memories would have been, big up,
Big up 37 gang. Let's go.
That's it. My era would have been sort of the Champman era, so or 102. I was speaking about this actually in stream a couple of weeks ago. So like Willie Sagnol, Walter Samwell, centre-back pairing, solid centre-back pairing. They were my memories. I was brought into it actually playing it by lads within my class that were sort of playing the game. And they said, "Oh, are you going home to play Champman tonight?" And I'm like, "What's Champman? Like, who is he?" And they're like, "No, it's a game, fool." So that's how I kind of got into the game, and I've never looked back since then. It's kind of been my go-to play, if you like. So I play other games, but predominantly I've always gone back to playing Football Manager. I've got all the iterations every year, and they're my sort of earlier memories.
Yeah, we all get pulled back. It doesn't matter. Any other game can come along, and it's like a fleeting moment. FM just always pulls us back. Always. Can't help it.
Absolutely.
Exactly that. Exactly. Just hearing you talk about it there, it's a really nice feeling, because as soon as you start to talk about, we're talking Champman days, and one of us. Yes. It's lovely. It's always really, really nice, isn't it? I mean, you kind of touched upon, growing up with your brother there. Did was your brother did he ever kind of get as into Football Manager, the old champ managers as you did, or was he more of a FIFA boy? Yeah,
so I do remember one year, and Matt will probably kill me for mentioning this on a podcast. I do remember one year us having an argument over playing time on Football Manager, and basically wrestling in the living room to decide who got the next hour of Football Manager. And so, he was as much into it as what I was. Cool. We have other siblings as well, much younger than us. Me and Matt grew up together, similar age. But there was a time where we wrestled to decide who would get the next hour of Football Manager when Mum and Dad went out for for a drink or a bite to eat or whatever. Yeah, definitely.
It's the correct way to sort of assert dominance especially in the FM world as well.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
As a little side thing. Me and Rich wrestle all the time when we get a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not allowed to tell your wife about that, though, are you?
She knows. She knows. She's fine with it. She's absolutely fine with it. You know. All I'm saying is that if there is ever another weekend away in Slough, we're looking for an Airbnb with a full size wrestling ring, just for reasons, just for completely unrelated reasons.
Or just access to a gym. That's all we need.
It's all we need. It's all we need. They look at us, not you two again. And, you know, everyone else is walking in with their kit bags and we're walking in with steel chairs and a table. It's like, no, we're just... I just have to bring them from home. It's my emotional security table. I panic if it's not close to me at any one time. Okay, because that's cool. Because again, I didn't have siblings growing up that had the same level of interest in things like Football Manager that I did. So it was only when I got a lot older that one of my younger brothers, you know, we kind of really started hanging out more, and we've had saves on the go together. But, you know, we were never like ultra competitive. We never wrestled for it, which in hindsight. Although we have introduced a wrestling element to the FMT network save, which in hindsight I think is terrible. And I hated every second of it, mainly because I lost. Time. Yeah, you had a great time. I lost. I got eliminated from the Elimination Chamber as the first man. And that's why I'm potentially vetoing it from ever happening again. I'm not, because it was a great idea. But I'm a bitter boy. Okay, so those are the early days of Luke. That's Luke's kind of early Champman experiences. Talk to us then about the transition then, I suppose, from that inspiration from playing a game like Championship Manager and getting deep into the nitty-gritty of the world of football management. Fill us the gap in between that and then coaching, because that's really cool.
Yeah, so they kind of fell in. So I'd relocated. I was struggling to get onto any sort of football coaching course within my area, and so I kind of put the coaching on the back burner for a few months. And I thought, well, I need to get into the real world. I actually, believe it or not, I did an apprenticeship. So while I was doing my apprenticeship, one of my dad's friends said to me, I've got, I'm running this sort of junior football team within the area. And would you be interested in helping me out, you know, collecting the football, setting down the cones and this type of thing? And I said, you know what, I'll give it a go, because it gives me a little bit of experience and when the courses do tend to come along. And so I actually ended up spending 18 months, 2 years with this junior team. And because of my commitment to spending time with them, and obviously it's all voluntary roles, I was 16, 17 at the time. They actually put me on a coaching course. Back then, you had a choice to do a coaching course with the FA, or you had a choice to do them with clubs. And one of the clubs that was running a coaching course was Bolton Wanderers. And so I decided to actually do the course with Bolton Wanderers at the Reebok Stadium. So I thought,
so sick.
Yeah, it's something a bit different. And I thought, you know, rather than doing it with the FA, and at the time I think they were based at Lilleshall, I'll do it with Bolton Wanderers, because I'm at the Reebok Stadium. They were Premier League side at the time. And, you know, get a little bit of exposure to what that real life football environment is. So I did a level 2 coaching course. I missed the level 1. You didn't have to do the level 1 at the time. But I went straight onto level 2. And I was a little bit cheeky at the end of the course. I went up to the trainer and said, is there any jobs going at Bolton, by the way, that I can sort of jump onto? And they said, yeah, we're actually we've got a big recruitment drive at the stadium in the next couple of weeks. You should maybe pop down. This is obviously after my course had finished. And so I went to the recruitment drive, and there was no sort of formal interview. We'd sort of sent in our CVs, and I was in a room of around about 20 or 30 coaches at varying levels. And we sort of sent in our CVs and turned up, and Dave, who was sort of doing this introduction, said, right, guys, you're all in. I like all your CVs. We've picked you out. There's a trip going to Canada in the next 2 weeks. Who can do it? And I looked around the room, and no one was sort of putting their hand up. And I sort of, you know, I'll go, you know, type thing, with the, you know, with the department set up with the academy, and I'll go. Okay then, and that was basically it. That was my route in then, and
wow.
having only flown 2 hours and suffering with real bad travel sickness, I had to sit on a plane with people I didn't know and fly to Canada with a sort of stopover at I think it was Iceland on the way. So yeah, that was an
Wow.
experience. Yeah, something a
Yeah.
bit different. Yeah.
That's wild. So obviously, so I'm guessing you're from around the Bolton area,
That's
and you're in
correct.
that
Yeah,
sort of
I'm
area,
from.
right?
I live in Cheshire. Yeah, that's right.
Right, cool. So then obviously you get into it through that, and then yeah, get the opportunity. So whereabouts in Canada was it that you went to? Were you working with one of the sort of the MLS clubs, or just one of the Canadian clubs around there, or?
So basically, the first team were doing a pre-season trip to Canada, and the football club had a link in with a team called Bolton, who are based in Ontario. So
Sure.
the name interlinks, so that affiliate. And so we were going across to run ultimately to support. It's like a soccer school in essence. So Bolton is around about an hour and a half outside of Ontario. Sorry, outside of Toronto in Ontario. And so we actually went watching Toronto play against Bolton in a pre-season friendly, and we took
Fun.
players that we were coaching across there. We were across there for 2 weeks. We stayed with host families, and it was again a real exposure to that sort of chucking on a uniform, representing a football club, and gauging experiences of other coaches and understanding what their story looked like, and seeing, basically similar to the FM community, like you get where you're asking advice off people. That was in essence, I had 2 weeks to sit with some really qualified coaches and ask their experiences and hopefully learn off them and grow from that experience myself. But the Bolton trip turned into play. I went to places off the back of that then. So I went to Nigeria, I went to South Africa, I spent time in Colombia, India, and Colorado as well. So obviously in the US. So yeah, a lot of traveling in essence off the back of a cheeky question,
Wow.
to my educator on the back of a level 2 coaching badge.
That's amazing. You've
Yes.
literally done all of our sort of like scouting like that we set up all the time in pre-season. Like, all right, we get someone down in South America, get someone down in Africa, have a look down there. You've done it all. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's an experience, certainly an experience, and ultimately working with not just working with football clubs. Sometimes you're working with government, so government initiatives to get people maybe that are in poverty or players that are in poverty that might not have access to proper established footballing networks, and to put them in front of football coaches that work for a Premier League football club. It was quite a humbling experience at times. We went into the townships in South Africa, in Nigeria, spent time in Lagos, in Colombia. We worked on government initiatives as well. So, but we're always looking for players in these areas that we brought back to ultimately an event that lasted a week. So the club would pay for players to come across and to showcase themselves in front of the academy coaches. But while we're out there, obviously, hopefully impart some life experiences and some real positive experience, on the players that we're working with, which was really interesting.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that genuinely incredible. I mean, you don't really. I mean, I find this really interesting because you through games like FM, you when it comes to international traveling game, it's hey, where do you want to go pre-season? And it's just a arbitrary click of a list of different countries or cities and different nations. And that football clubs they travel internationally, pre-season, sometimes mid-season as well, but you don't really get any concept of actually what goes on out there. Very naively I think about it and I think, oh, it's just somebody going putting out the cones, but they're just doing it in a different time zone. That's kind of the extent of it. So it's really, really interesting to kind of hear about kind of just all these different aspects of what clubs are doing behind the scenes when they are traveling abroad. That's awesome. I mean, you've mentioned that you've got these initiatives. You're out there. You're talking to you're talking to local government. You're talking to different people about we're always on the lookout for players. Any standouts from your experiences traveling abroad that that there was a degree of success for them in terms of they were spotted while you were abroad with a club like Bolton?
Yeah, so with players that we worked with so I did 2 trips to South Africa, based in Bloemfontein and Cape Town, and some of the players that were on these initiatives, these football initiatives, had gone on to then play youth international football for South Africa. Players that we had worked with, ultimately they're already in excellent coaching setups, but us working with them had given that little bit more exposure. The same in Colombia as well. So similar sorts of stories in Colombia, where players have gone on then to play in maybe not the Colombian Premier Division, if you like, but a league below. And so yeah, really excellent initiatives. Players that had obviously gone on to make a little bit of make a success out of their footballing stories. And working alongside coaches. So not just working alongside players, but we're working alongside coaches as well. So doing a little bit of coach education. So the players, the coaches, in essence, would work alongside us for the couple of weeks. We'd share ideas and philosophies, and then they've gone on to have good careers within football coaching as well, which was that's really cool just to pass on, because I believe in that sort of sharing, that sharing of information, better for the group, and rather than sort of being sort of tight with with information and sort of looking after yourself. It's all about sharing that wealth of experience, and we were learning as well. I can't say that I wasn't learning. I was coaching in Colombia, and we spent time working with only Spanish speaking players. So we had translators alongside us, but you're having to learn a little bit of Spanish to help the session run. Little bits of information and that type of thing. But all of this has come from ultimately playing Football Manager, which is the craziest part about it all. So if I hadn't have played Football Manager, I might not have had. Well, I know I definitely wouldn't have had all these experiences, which is magic, really.
Absolutely, and it's brilliant, isn't it, to be able to look back at a game like FM as the catalyst for you being able to go out and do all these incredible things as well. It sounds like the way you speak about it, it's clearly fond memories, because of course, why wouldn't they be? I don't know about you, Dee, but I don't think I could trust myself under those circumstances to not just run away with it, in terms of just being a bit silly, because like you're talking, like Luke, you're talking about you've mentioned Bolton Wanderers and you've mentioned Premier League, so in my head I've been kind of doing the maths and kind of going back and trying to work it all out. Could you send me to Colombia working for a club like Bolton? I'm going and tapping up all the players in these Colombian teams going, hey, listen, I can get you JJ Okocha's phone number, we can make this happen. Fernando Hierro, mate, just phone call away. Do you want to come back with us? I don't think I could be that serious about it, because
I've got Big Sam on speed dial. Yeah, we can have him here in minutes. Yeah,
he's back at the hotel. He's there. It's absolutely incredible. What would you say, I suppose, in terms of those journeys? I mean, obviously you're learning a lot. What was your biggest takeaway from those international trips? I mean, of all the things that you've seen and you did, obviously you've mentioned that you're kind of learning to an extent on the job, because obviously you've done a training course, you've put your hand up in the right place at the right time, you're on a plane to Canada, and that's led to all these other wonderful opportunities. What was the biggest takeaway for you from all this kind of international travel and the experience of these different cultures and seeing how football is played and also run in different countries?
I think really for me, without trying to take it down too serious a route, is understanding the wider world out there, and that there are people that are genuinely struggling, and just showing a little bit of humility and putting life into perspective a little bit. Especially spending a little bit of time driving past the townships and working within these with players that were living in these areas. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from everything. And obviously, maybe a typical answer, but football is a massive community. So how that all these people that I met along the way are somehow connected to football, players, coaches, parents. We were looked after by host families, or we'd go to spend time in Nigeria, for example, and there's people that don't really have a lot, but they want you to go and have a meal with them and sit down because you've worked with their son or daughter for a couple of days. they want to host you and feed you and look after you. And I just think there's that putting life into perspective. That was one of the biggest takeaways. And then obviously you're getting a first for travel then is to not stay within your own bubble, so to expose yourself to new environments and new experiences, that on a personal level, that's what I took from it. And so I've always had a thirst for traveling and working in different environments, and also getting out my comfort zone, to try and challenge myself a little bit. So more from the mental side is to try new things. This is one of the first podcasts I've been on, so it's like it's something new. You kind of can overthink it, but your experiences that have led you to it's just talking about what you've done and to put yourself out there a little bit. That's like taking it too serious. That would kind of be my answer. Yeah.
Yeah, the life experience I imagine that all of those trips gave you, and like you say, just that thirst to want to go out and do it more. I mean, I even get it a little bit if I just go on holiday and I kind of want to go and do it. But you've been to like some serious places and you've seen it like hands on. It's not just been like a holiday. It's been you've worked with people, and like you say, you've been welcomed into people's homes. You've seen what it's like to live there, and I can imagine it. Yeah, like you say, I imagine that's so rewarding as well as humbling as well. You get such a better view of everything.
Absolutely, yeah. And obviously then it makes you think you've got to keep working at things, not to seeing people that don't have a lot and their everything is to keep on working at things, to keep on improving and wanting to improve their situation, and that's they're also values that have been instilled in me by my parents, but also, they're your parents. You sometimes don't listen to them, but to see it, from other people, that's the other one, isn't it? So yeah. Really real experiences, and kind of off the back of that, then I went to work at Liverpool and Man City as well in various capacities. Liverpool looking after the local schools programs, so coaching with the local schools from the area that down at the academy, and Manchester City then came off the back of my work at Bolton, again connections and working with the women's team. So again, a different side of football, not just the male and academy side, the women's side of the game as well, which was interesting as well. And again, you're meeting all different people in various walks of life, varying beliefs and the likes, and it's really interesting, just to sit for 5 minutes and listen to people's stories. Yeah,
wow, that's amazing. I mean, as you were kind of recounting some of that, I was looking through, because I think it's on your social media. You've got a list of, obviously you've got Bolton, you've got City, you've got Liverpool, you've got the list of the countries that you travelled to. I didn't realise that your journey to Man City kind of was involved with the women's game, which is amazing, especially with the addition of it kind of in FM now. I mean, how long ago was it you were at kind of Man City with the women's team? How long ago are we talking here?
Yeah, so just before they went into their professional setup, so just before they went into the Man City women's setup that we know, I was the manager of their reserve team. I'm trying to think now. Maybe 10, 11 years ago now. I've actually come full circle. I work with a women's team as it stands at the minute, and some of my players that I work with at Man City are actually coming up to their final years at playing for the women's team that I manage at the minute, and we're competing against the likes of Bolton and Bury, so they're still competing at a really good level. So Tranmere, for example, are within our league. So it's quite interesting having that full circle moment with that. So I've gone away. I've worked in other areas. So at the time that Man City went professional, I actually left Man City due to some personal things that were going on at the time with regards to our family. But I went off. I was coaching more local to where I live, just to suit a little bit better. But nice to have that full circle moment, is coming back in and meeting up with your players and sort of giving them their last season within women's football. That's been really interesting. So coaching them at 18, and now they're sort of in the 30s, and that's it.
They're retiring.
That's it. Yeah, they're retiring. Yeah. If I keep on coaching, I'm sure like in the game, I might have a child that comes through.
One of their kids training through. I taught your mum how to kick a football properly.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Some lovely full circle moments there, though. Some really, really nice full circle moments. I mean, we all have them on games like Football Manager. You develop an attachment to a player, and then they may move on, whatever. And then as your story on a game like FM progresses, you end up linking back up with them again. It's always such a nice feeling. It is. So the opportunity to get to experience that in real life as well.
That's just a way for you to talk about how once again you've signed Luka Toplovic.
Nothing
again, because he has, everyone. He's signed him at Everton. All right. Cumulatively now we're looking at £350 million Rich has spent on a Slovenian teenager.
Yeah. And what? He's really good at football, thank you very much. I'm
not questioning that. It's just, obsessed might be a word.
Find me somebody better and cheaper would be my advice. There we go. There's the challenge for everybody. Find me somebody better and cheaper.
I think we all have them types of players. Alfie Rutherford has been my player in my save. I brought him to Wolves. He had no right to be at Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League, but I brought him on for half a game just to give him his day in the sun after he scored, I think, 70 goals in 2 seasons for me or something stupid. Wow. So I give him his day in the sun. Alfie Rutherford over at Dorking. Yeah, he's got his opportunity. I've seen him off.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, Luke. I encourage that type of behaviour. D just hates joy.
I am not against. I've re-signed players. We know I've re-signed players. I haven't spent 350 million on one player across two games. Let's bear that in mind.
You wait until FM 27.
I know.
And 28 and 29 and so on and so forth until he retires, because that will be the end of my content journey. With no Luca, the world will seem like a dark and terrifying place. This is it. He's one of my football horcruxes. It was Barry Bannon before, and now Barry's on his last legs. Luca.
You've moved it over to Luca.
I love you now, son. There you go. It's not a small Scottish man anymore. It's a small Slovenian boy. What a weird sentence. Fun. Good. Context, hey? Isn't it important in these circumstances? Let's talk about FM then, Luke, because we've kind of skirted around it. It's come up in the conversation as has been. Obviously, as we say, your journey to, I suppose, content creation, you've already got... A lot of us play it because we are convinced that we could manage or play in real life. Obviously, you have a wealth of experience within the game in real life with, clubs like Bolton, Liverpool, the Man City women's team. What then, I suppose, where's the gap between that experience and then thinking, you know what, it's time for me to start doing this in front of a camera or with an audience? I mean, what was the thought process that led you from your real life experience to wanting to, I suppose, move into that content creation space?
I think it's best to preface this and say, obviously, this is a Football Manager therapy podcast. And so for myself personally, I'm one of these. I need to keep myself active. I need to keep my mind ticking over. That's where I sort of sit in the world. I've always held jobs that have needed me to be at work for a number of hours. I like to keep myself busy at all times. I play golf and I play Football Manager and I run football teams and I work long hours. I'm always needing to keep busy. And I think Christmas just gone now. Knowing that I had 2 weeks of sort of, after the celebrations are all past, you're sort of in a 2-week window of like, what do I actually do now? And it was one of them things that I was thinking, I need to keep myself busy, but what do you do to keep yourself busy when most things are shut down or your other option is to go rightly so. You can go down the pub and meet up with friends and family, but what do I do on my downtime? And so that sort of transition then into content creation came from the idea of, I love playing Football Manager, but no one that I know actually plays the game within my immediate friend circle. And so I'm going to start, and I've sort of done this a little bit under the radar, with friends and family not really knowing. I'm going to start sharing my story on X, as far as my save, because I feel that I have more of an experience playing the game if I'm actually able to share that story with someone. And so, and I think it's all about that community. So I always put that sort of FM community hashtag at the bottom of all my tweets, because I want to share with people. That's the key for me. So during the Christmas break, I decided I'm gonna buy it, regardless of all the sort of, I deemed it, sort of negative press around the game and the delay and the issues that it was facing. I thought, I'm going to come away from playing 24 and I'm going to actually buy 26. So I'm going to dive straight in and give this a go. And I've actually not looked back since. So I started sharing my story on X, and then I downloaded Twitch, and I was just watching streamers like yourselves and Y Callum. So I know Y Callum personally. And basically, seeing the fun that I had within chat and speaking to him, and the fun that he seemed to be having last year playing FM. I know that obviously he doesn't stream FM as much anymore, but seeing the fun that he'd had, I basically thought, I'd asked in chat, like, what does it take to become a streamer? Like, if I want to interact with people properly, not just share a story that I get the odd comment or reply back to. And I was really encouraged by the chats that I was in. So I think I've been in your chat, D, and there's loads of encouragement off people that people that you regulars that you get in. And so like, it's Adam FM, I was in his chat, and Y Callum's, and basically the guys had just said, and like Aylward's chat, and just like, what does it need for me to start? And they're like, you don't really need a lot. You need probably, if you want to take it seriously, maybe buy yourself a camera and a mic. And download OBS and basically get going. That's what we'd encourage you to do. Like, you're never going to get it right from the start, but just get going and start building from there. And so I really took that advice on, and I got these boxes delivered to the house, obviously with my camera and my mic in, and Emma, my wife's like, so what are these? And I'm like, I've kept this kind of under wraps. I've not really told anyone in the family I'm going to start like putting myself out there in this way. And I said, well, it's a streaming camera and a microphone. And she was laughing. She says, so what are you going to do with it? I'm like, well, I'm going to try and become a streamer. And she was laughing at me, like 37-year-old me, I said, well, my love of the game, I'm playing the game anyway of an evening while you're watching films or that type of stuff. So I might as well share it with someone and become a part of the community. And so that's when people talk about FM and the issue, especially 26 and the issues that it's had, I say I've become a streamer not because of the game, but because of the community element. That's what's led me in here. So I think the community far outweighs the issues that the game has. That's what I found with people I've spoke to. And there's no one that I've spoken to so far, asked for help, that has ever turned me away or rejected because I'm not really a part of it. Everyone's made me feel really welcoming, and so that's just encouraged me to want to do more. So then I'm like, right, I'm going to stream 2 nights a week, and I've had to stream, today, before coming and having a chat with you guys. I wanted to get that in because of the community and how I felt about becoming a part of it. And I've probably stayed in a save the longest I've ever done because of that interaction. Otherwise, I would have jumped out and tried something else, which is really interesting. And I like journeyman saves. So for a journeyman save, you've got to keep that level of consistency, and that it has to be entertaining. You have to enjoy it. Otherwise, it becomes a bit stale. Even through your bad days and your save, that's where I found that's come from. So. It's that's the transition really is the long answer to the short question, if you like. That's where that's come from, and I've enjoyed it. And I've really, anyone that I speak to within chat or streaming to, or if I'm jumping into streams, always really welcoming. And it's been a real good it's been a good hobby, something else to to keep my mind active and keep me focused. As I said before, I really need that focus. Otherwise, if I'm sort of sitting on my hands for too long, you become aggy and agitated, and you have to be doing something. So that's where that therapy part of it comes in for me.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, former United City FM, used to be on the pod. His whole thing is community over content, and it definitely feels like with 26, that's something, at least something I'm noticing as well, is that there is more, because the game's obviously got negative reviews and all these things, and people have, they've said they've got issues with it. I've not noticed that side of Twitch anymore now. People talking about the game, it is just a community thing and people hanging out, because we've spent years kind of all being there and hanging out and sharing our stories, and now you're sharing your stories with everyone. It was like, yeah, cool, we want to hear your stories, we want to hear something off the new guy. So yeah, it's wicked that everyone's been so supportive, and I'm really happy that it's you've made affiliate already as well, which is great, if I'm right in thinking that. So that's it's marvelous to see that off the back of a couple of conversations, everything's just smashing, which is great.
Yeah, when I think I've only really been going for 12 weeks or so, 15 weeks, whatever it feels like, when you put it into that kind of context, it's a bit strange. And I never set out to do it, but it was more of a little bit of an inquisitive mind. It's like, well, I wonder what that'd be like to do it, and let's give it a go and make a bit of a fool of yourself, maybe. And at least you're giving it a go. It's that exposing yourself to new environment thing that I was talking about before. And so, but I've really enjoyed it, and I've got like my little group of followers now, and people that comment regularly, and the Discords are excellent, and so and everyone streams in a different way and does things a little bit differently. So you're getting the best of everything, really. So I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, and it's always it's always lovely to hear people's stories of how they just join the space. I think yours is especially great as well, because I think it's, you've not been part of the scene for a long time, but everybody that I've spoken to you mentioned your name, that nothing but nice things to say about you, which again is generally the same thing for a lot of the FM community. I think you'll find that a lot of people's stories are going to be quite similar to yours, Luke, in as much as a lot of people that play the game, and especially stream it or make content around it, don't have mates that play it. It's still, despite the fact that it's selling more copies year on year than it ever has before, it still feels like a really, really niche game. Even though it's got that bigger appeal now. It's on Xbox Live Game Pass, and there's console versions of it now, which were never really that popular before anyway. But they're suddenly, they're on PSN. It's on Xbox Game Pass. It still feels like that weird little spreadsheet game that none of your mates are really that interested in.
The thing I like about it though as well is that you get, because like we've been talking a little bit about Benny before, Benny Cargay, like you become friends with a dude from Philadelphia just from playing the game. Would have never would have met Benny under any other circumstances. Yeah, we both play Football Manager, and you chat with him, and you play Euro Truck Simulator with him every now and then, and total a truck because fun. That's that's what happens from doing Football Manager. So it's wicked. It's really, really interesting, and I hope it obviously grows as much as it can for you, and it continues being fun as well.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And as I said, that's the big thing for me, is more the community element, is someone understanding and watching your stream and thinking, that's quite interesting what Luke's doing, So maybe a little bit self-serving, but I want to do I've got a save idea to cover the areas I've been to, because I think it would make for quite an interesting idea.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But also to talk, it also allows me then to talk and share my experiences maybe through it. Luke, why are you in Nigeria? Why are you in Canada? Why are these places? Well, these are places I've been to, so it offers a little bit of a different spin on, something a little bit different to maybe what someone else is doing, but also a chance to speak to people.
That'd be an amazing journeyman. That'd be wicked. Even go and manage the teams that were near where you worked as well. That'd be unbelievable. That'd be great. Just need more African leagues in FM. That's all we need now.
That's it.
Absolutely. Like yours, it's a really cool story, And in terms of, you're in the right medium for it as well, because there's so much that you can do with those experiences that are applicable to FM26. Like we talk a lot about on the pod about, you know, what we do, and in more accurately, some of us, and by some of us I mean me, don't do on the game in terms of things like, you know, setting up coaching properly, that sort of things. You've done it for real. So, you know, do you find there's a lot of crossover between your real life experiences and the way that things like coaching and training is set up on Football Manager? Do you get to use any of that real life experience when you're doing things like that in the game, or is it so different to your lived experience that you're like, you know, actually I just have to click these buttons, I don't have to think about it in the same way that I did in real life?
I think the only difference I find, because the game is like, as far as you categorize it as a game, the amount of things that you can actually do and the way that you can make that journey so personal to yourself is, you know, it's unbelievable. So if you want to just be the sort of click continue, get me to a game, play the game, move on, you can do that. Or I like the deep dive into the tactical element. So testing tactics that I've actually used in real life and seeing if that works. I'm actually using a 4-4-2 diamond tactic, which I've used previously, and in the game as what I've done in IRL, because I was struggling with my wall save to actually get results, and I thought, well, flood the midfield with players because that's where I tend to be leaking my goals from, and it's worked. So that crossover has actually been quite interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah, it is. The only thing that's different is the actual player roles. You wouldn't necessarily say he's a midfield playmaker or he's this, you know, a poacher. You know, you're a goal scoring centre forward, or you're a right winger or a left winger. You might not go into the depths of the detail, but I obviously understand the reasons why. In 24, I spent a lot of time in the training menus, believe it or not. So the sort of setting the team up, and I found that it made a massive difference, especially if I was going to instill a team tactic, is thinking about, well, if I was to do this IRL, what would that look like? So maybe I'm struggling to score goals, so a lot of our training was, you know, after every day the sort of second or third option for your training category would be a finishing drill or a shooting drill, or that type of, you know, that type of element, or crossing, a chance creation as it was. I haven't spent as much time in 26 because I'm still learning about the game and what its capabilities are, and I find it quite a different game to 24 in regards to the gameplay. But I do take like great pride in jumping onto the individual training elements of it. So I'm really trying to. I've got great wingers in the team, but now I play a 4-4-2 diamonds. There's no space for them. So how do I retrain them into the positions to suit my formation? Because the formation is working well. So to get the players to fill into that rather than selling players and that sort of cycle. So that's where I found that sort of crossovers really worked, particularly with the formation elements of it. I've said to the chat on stream that next season I'm going to be all, regardless of where I am, I'm going to be all sort of focused on running that train element, and maybe giving a little bit of an insight to how I see that working, and not so much a tutorial, but just how I see that working, and hopefully, you know, maybe that feeds back in, and someone gets, I get success out of it. Maybe someone who's watching gets success out at the back of it as well.
Sure.
So giving a bit of a deeper insight, because I don't think many use the training element. I've not really seen many streamers jumping into that, and it's also time consuming as well, isn't it? You know,
I think the problem was RDF Tactics made a really good training schedule, and we all just went, yeah, we'll just use that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he did all the hard work. yeah.
He'd done all the work, bless Aaron, and we all just went, that's actually really good. Oh, thanks, mate. I'll just use that. And
yeah,
I'll do.
Never looked at it.
No.
Yeah.
Never looked at it.
No. And there's the thing. There's the thing of it. Look, I'm a massive advocate of a midfield diamond on FM26, especially when it comes to managing mid-tier Premier League clubs.
Yeah,
I get it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And let's touch for a second on the save. You've mentioned it a couple of times. You mentioned a bit of a journeyman. You know, D has put a hat on to celebrate the club that you're managing. Let's talk about
might not be the word, but sure.
Celebrate might not be a word. Let's talk about Wolves. So you've mentioned kind of journeyman save. How long have you? So how many seasons into your save are you, and how many of those seasons have you spent at Wolves?
So 5 seasons of the save as it stands at the minute, and I've done 2 full. Well, I'm in my 2nd full season at Wolves, but I took over them. If in essence 3 seasons, the 3rd season would have been a half season. So in essence, I've done 2.5 seasons with them. I started out at Dorking on the back of the sort of the bunch of amateurs, that type of YouTube series. I'm hoping to actually get to a game before the end of the season without sort of time stamping it. I'm hoping to get to a game before the end of the season.
Let me know, because they're only down the road from me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that'd be excellent. Yeah. That'd be excellent.
I'll show you around the Meadowbank.
Please do. Yeah. Please do.
You walk in and it's there. There is nothing exciting. Parking's awful.
I think my draw to Dorking was actually when I was watching the game. I'm a sucker for like 2 strikers, big man, little man striker setup, and they had McShane and they had Alfie Rutherford playing up front, and so that was and they played a 3-5-2 formation, I think it was. So I kind of thought I'd love to recreate that in FM, because I've not seen many people play that type of, I'm a Manchester United fan. Don't shoot me, But I remember just watching Cole and York and Sheringham and Solskjaer. So that buzz for that two striker with the wide midfielders bombing the ball into the box, constant crosses. So that's why I started with them, and obviously watching the YouTube series, and then progressed from there. Then after gaining promotion, 1st season we won the league, gained promotion. 2nd season stabilised in the national league, but I kept on asking the board, as is typical, and I want to go professional, don't want to be part-time, need to go professional. We're winning all these games, we're competing with professional teams, but I just need to, and it just wasn't coming. They kept on rejecting me. So at the end of the season, I actually got approached by Colchester United to go and manage them. They were fallen giants and sort of League 1 down into League 2. They've been relegated, so I've got a little bit of a connection with Colchester, with family and stuff. I'll give Colchester a go. So I reluctantly left Dorking and went to Colchester, and as is typical with saves, it kind of, grass isn't always greener. I couldn't get a connection to the team itself. I just wasn't enjoying my save. I actually asked Y Callum for a little bit of advice, knowing that he's sort of excellent with journeyman saves, and said, what would you do in this situation? And he said, well, give it to the end of the season, see where you go on, and if not, you can resign and see if there's other jobs around about. So I did exactly that. I got to the playoff final, lost the playoff final, and instantly resigned from my position as manager.
Yep, been there, done that.
Yeah, been there. Didn't win promotion. I don't even know if I'd have won promotion that I wouldn't have done exactly the same thing. It was kind of like, it would have been just a nice tick to get that playoff final win, because it would have been a second trophy with my second team. Because I think with a journeyman, you always have to finish on a success in that regards, like with a win. Otherwise, you can leave the club in better shape. But I believe in playing it, so you have to win, move on. That's it, type thing, or stay for a little while longer if you fancy it. So I resigned at the end of the season, and then basically was applying for every job under the sun that I could see. Keep on clicking the continue button, apply. And then I had the option to go after about, we got up to getting up to the Christmas transfer window. It's coming up to November of the what would have been the 3rd season at that time. And basically, I put in a request to join Sheffield United, sorry Rich, or Wolverhampton Wanderers, because they're both jobs are available. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Both of our rivals. Unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly right.
Did you also apply for Southampton while you were here? Just get Stakey into the mix, maybe Everton, just to upset Jeb. Yeah. Goodness.
Just to give a real kick into it, and To my sort of surprise, shock, and horror, because lesser teams had actually rejected me, both had actually offered me an interview. Sheffield United had 50 million transfer budget and we're in the Championship, and Wolverhampton Wanderers were staving off relegation in the Premier League. They had 75 million. I was like, ooh, 75 million Premier League team. Oh,
that's fair.
I'm sure I could do something with that. This is a game at the end of the day. How hard can it be? And literally struggled. I accepted the Wolves job on the fact of I thought, well, I'm new into content creation. They've got their own troubles as it is in the league at the minute. Maybe I could do a little bit of a redemption story through my own sort of, create my own positive spin on it, even if the team are looking like they're probably going to get relegated this year. So I went with Wolves and took that big money, so that 75 milli was sitting in my back pocket and burning an absolute hole. So coming up to, it's December, isn't it? So I've got money to spend. Ultimately, we brought in some cracking players and we staved off relegation. And I thought, that's fine. We've done it. Next season, board give me another 70 million to spend. Fantastic. I can go on, really push on here. Bought in Teo Hernandez and I bought in Karim Kanate and I bought in Ugalde, who was playing at Everton at the time. I forget whereabouts he was playing before that, but ultimately brought another striker in. And I'm looking at it, bringing Angel Gomez. He's not playing. And I'm like, we got to the end of the season. I thought this is going to get better at some point, this save, surely to goodness. And I got to the end of the season and I stayed up on the last game of the season on goal difference. I thought I've spent like this part of 150 million here and I can't, what's going on? I'm a million miles away from winning anything. As I thought, it's a journey, man. I can't leave. I've got to stay with them. I've got to win something. And so this year we seem to have a bit of a turn of form. I've changed up formation. I've sort of categorised the cup competitions. And as it stands at the minute, we're in the Carabao Cup semi-final. We've played the first leg, drew 1-1 with Brighton. Jose Mourinho is the manager. Kolo Muani is their striker. And so I've got them in the second leg with a view of hopefully winning that Carabao Cup potentially. But I think I've got Liverpool in the final if I do get through. Mid-table Premier League, and we're in the early stages of the FA Cup at the minute. So we just beat Leeds. So I'm hoping for this season. But then it's like, what do I do? Because I am actually really enjoying my time with Wolves, and that's the conundrum I've come up against. That's where I'm struggling at the minute, is to stay on or whether I go to somewhere abroad, somewhere a bit different. I don't know. What would you do, gents, in that sort of scenario? What would you do in that situation?
Get out of. I wouldn't have gone there in the first place, but win that Carabao Cup, get that thing on your CV, get out of there.
Yeah.
Run away. I mean, look. In all fairness, like if it was a different team in a similar scenario, if I won a Carabao Cup, then I would genuinely think, okay, that's good. Can I take them further? Realistically, or would it be worth going somewhere new and interesting? And I would probably think, all right, maybe let's go and have a look in somewhere like Germany or Italy, somewhere like that. Go move over somewhere where not necessarily, something like the Dortmund job might not be available, but someone of that ilk, if like Leverkusen's available, it's like, okay, there's a chance to do something really special in the same amount of time. You could win the Bundesliga, and then you could use that to springboard you to take to various other places. But what would you be doing, Rich?
See, I am going to massively contradict you there, D. I'm a firm believer in, if you are enjoying yourself, and I think if you've built a connection with your club, go for it. I'm coming at this.
If you've gone to Sheffield United, you would have agreed with me.
I think the Sheffield United, I'd have just uninstalled the game. You've broken it, just corrupted, set fire to your PC.
For the people watching the YouTube video, I have turned my back on Rich.
Yeah. Now we just look like we're cross-armed opposites. This guy, eh? This guy. No, I firmly believe. Look, I'm in a similar boat to yourself, Luke, I suppose, in terms of my save. I'm a mid-table Premier League club, or a club that really, by all rights, should be a mid-table Premier League club. and I'm having a great time. I'm really, really enjoying the journey. It's going to take me a while before I'm competitive enough to really push for things like cups and, dare I say, a league title. But it's the journey, and I think it's building those teams. And you're in the point of your save now as well, where you're starting to get all these wonderful new players into the database. You start to see all these excellent new players popping up from all over the place, and £10 million spent in the right places can bring you in 2 or 3 players that have got the potential to really change a team over a season or two.
That's true.
Worst case scenario, if you're trying to clear £880 million worth of debt, you can sell them for a profit further down the line as well. I think for me, it's all based entirely, Luke, around your enjoyment. You know, if this is a save that you've kind of transferred to kind of the online space now, and this is something that you're playing mostly on stream, and especially if you're newer to the game in terms of the streaming community, then if you're enjoying yourself, that is, for me, more important than the club that you're managing. If you're having a good time with it and you're enjoying yourself, crack on, man, crack on.
Yeah.
Likewise, it's not going to do you any harm if like D says, if you win the Carabao against, and this sounds, has anybody ever said these words in this order before? Jose Mourinho's Brighton. That just sounds, that's a new sentence, isn't it? Like, if you can win the Carabao Cup and you think to yourself, you know what, I've done a job here, maybe let's go and see what other jobs are out there. Fine, nobody's going to begrudge you that, let alone D. He'll be packing your suitcase for you.
I will. I'll help you leave. I will help you move.
He will help you leave.
There is one more twist in this tale. There is one more twist. I have got... ultimately, I'm trying to introduce a lot of youth team players in because of the money I've been given, and obviously I've spent it. The club aren't in great financial shape at the minute, but I needed to spend some money to improve what they basically had. And so I have got what I'm calling a straight out of Compton twist on my save. So the training ground is Compton, the youth training ground is Compton. So I'm using a lot of the youth team players. So I've got Andy Calder, who's playing in there. I've got a lad called Hartrick that plays for us in central midfield. I've got fullbacks, Will McLaughlin, who's playing at right fullback. So that's kind of. That's the only twist in the story, is that I've actually really enjoyed watching these lads get a number of first team minutes. So they've had not just minutes, but games, like they're getting a run of games. So that's the only thing that would kind of keep me to it. And I think it all rides really on my final league position. If I was able to edge into them European spots or get close to them, it might make me think I'm doing this with the young lads as well. That sort of youth development element of a journeyman, which you don't really get on a journeyman. It's a bit weird, really.
Yeah,
so
just buy the best. You don't really hang around long enough, do you? Really, in a journeyman?
No.
So that's fun that you've brought that into it.
Yeah.
And it can add a real twist as well. We've talked quite a lot on the pod recently about the youth players and the joy of finding a player with great potential and just trying to introduce them into the first team and giving them a stupid nickname at the same time, just to just to make yourself laugh. I'm looking at Douglas Duncanshire at Feyenoord right now, and I miss him tremendously. But again, I think there is that. It adds just a massive sense of achievement to your longer term saves if you've got this group of players and you can, like you say, you can get them into the first team. You can start to win things with them. It adds a lot.
I'm looking forward to you nicknaming them all after members of NWA, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there weren't a huge amount of members in NWA, so that might run out after.
Some of them, though, isn't it? That's the 5 best, or however many the members there were of NWA. I don't know.
I think there were 4 members of NWA.
Okay.
There you go.
Then 4.
You've got Eazy-E, you've got Ice Cube, you've got Dr. Dre, and you've got the other fella.
Was Snoop Dogg associated with them, or was he in them?
Snoop Dogg wasn't in NWA, I don't think.
I'm looking it up. This is just
could you please? Because I mean that itch needs scratching before we can move on.
I'm on it.
Thank you, darling.
Past members. A chap called Arabian Prince. Never heard of him.
Okay.
Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, DJ Old Yeller,
Okay.
and MC Ren.
Oh, there we go. That's
So that's
5.
6 players. That's your back line and a couple of strikers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can fill out the squad with, people who have worked with them. Perhaps another rap group. I don't know. What was Flavor Flav part of? What did he do?
Flavor Flav is in not Anthrax.
Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, because they did a song with Anthrax from the Tony Hawk soundtrack.
You can get Public Enemy involved.
Get Public Enemy involved. Yes.
That's your wingers.
There we go.
Should have just put So Solid Crew, and then it could just be all of them.
Oh, you sorted forever.
I'm
That's
not
like 4
unconvinced that I'm not in So Solid Crew. I think I might be in So Solid Crew.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And for 1,000
find
channel points, you're able to name them players whatever you like.
There you go. Start saving them up. It's really important.
We're on it, people.
That's it.
We're on it. We're making it work. Look, it sounds to me like you're genuinely enjoying your content creating journey, which again is a really, really lovely thing to hear. I suppose just to kind of, start to wrap that side of things with you up, I suppose, what's next? I mean, you've been part of the space now, as you say, for about 3 or 4 months. You've made it to affiliate, which is no mean feat, and that's really cool. What are you looking to get out of your content creation journey in the long run, I suppose?
The community element's massive for me, so I know that in some of the chats that I'm in, we do the meetups very similar to what Cal did with the Slime meetup, and I mean, for me, that's part of the reason why we're doing it. It's all that community feels, having an invested interest in everyone's saves. Ultimately, I just want to see where it really takes me. I know that sounds like a very generic answer, but I've not really put any pressure on myself to grow it to the masses. But again, if I'm doing it, I like to give it my best effort. So I think I've lucked out with a couple of things. So I've lucked out with some of the chats that I've gone into and some of the people that I've been watching. I lucked out a little bit with the Wolves element of my save, because ultimately they already had an IRL story that I could latch onto the back of, in essence. So I've never really put myself under any pressure to do anything, but I'd like to. I've got this plan, as I said, to do this this Bolton save that I spoke about with the places I've been, and ultimately just try and grow the channel. I'm not great on on anything technical. I'm to be honest with you, I'm absolutely awful. So it took me like about 10 YouTube videos and several questions in various discourse to work out how to get OBS set up and how all that works. So so it's something that's keeping me busy, keeping my mind active, working through them little things. I'm one of these that I have to do it myself. As far as if I'm going to get OBS out, I've got to do it myself. I can't have someone come in and do it for me. And so basically to grow the channel as best as I can, and keep people engaged. And if people are enjoying it and I'm getting the sort of people coming and watching and enjoying my content, then great. Off the back of it, a sort of again, like I said, the community meetups, that's something that'd be awesome to do. I'm involved at the minute with a men's football team. They're based on the outskirts of Greater Manchester. It's quite essential. So if I did a community meetup, maybe do something similar to what had happened at Slough, maybe a match against them, and just add little bits in like that. But more what I do is based more around the community rather than selfishly thinking I want to be the best FM streamer. I've not really got them desires. It's more about being a part of something, hence I've been in football for a long time and it's always been about the we rather than the I. So, that's kind of where I am. And obviously look to ask for advice and, that type of thing and how to move forward. But to grow the channel and look down the sort of more of the more that the podcasting route, maybe with some of the streamers that I'm involved with, similar to what you guys have done, So that'd be great. That'd be great. But as it stands at the minute, I'm just really enjoying my save. I'm really enjoying the people that I've met. I'm enjoying watching streams. I watch yourselves. I watch Kev. I watch Wycal. I've not as much of an interest in Pokemon, that type of thing, but I watch Cal's because I was supporting a mate, and I want to get more of an interest in that type of thing. He's a great streamer, so that's where I sit with it all, really, and just grow it organically, if anything like that. So
yeah. That is always, I think that is the best thing to do on something like Twitch, isn't it? It's just you do the best stream that you can, enjoy it as much as you can, and still play games that you want to play. And if people enjoy watching it, great. If they don't, cool. Well, you had a great 3.5 hours anyway, so because you played a game and had a fun time. Doesn't matter if But then if there are people that want to hang out, great. Let's be mates. Let's hang out and and talk about all sorts of things. Yeah.
Absolutely that. It sounds like you're approaching it from a very well thought out place, because I think it's, for me, and we've had this conversation on pod before. I think if the intention of people getting into the kind of content creation space is to be the biggest and the best on the platform, then it's probably, with the best will in the world, it's probably not going to work out for you the way that you want it to work out, because it's, as you said there, Luke, it's organic growth. And especially with a game like FM, people buy into the person playing it more so than what is happening on the screen and on the streams. People don't watch, a lot of the time, people don't watch people playing Football Manager because they think that person is the best at the game and they're going to learn loads and they're going to win. I'm going to watch that person winning. People get invested in you as a streamer. They get invested in your journey, and I think that's the nicest possible way it could happen. I think that's what that's what I want to happen, and I feel happy when I feel that that's the way that it's going. Like I've got no intention of ever trying to be the biggest and the best, but I have fun playing Football Manager. And I think if I'm having fun, I'm getting to hang out with my friends and have fun with them at the same time, that's a massive win in my book. If that's what we're doing, and that's how we're spending our days, and that's how we're spending our nights, brilliant. I've won already. I am the biggest and the best because I'm having fun with my pals. And that's really, I think that's really all you can ask for it. And then whatever happens, if good things are happening alongside that, even better. What a result.
Yeah.
But
that's just the bonus at the end of the day, isn't it? That's where that comes from. Yeah,
exactly that. No, I love that. Absolutely love that for you, pal. Before we start to kind of wrap up properly and say our goodbyes, now I have a feeling we've already touched on it a little bit anyway, but we do often ask our guests before they come onto the podcast if they would like to spin it around at the end, do a bit of a 180, and they take charge for a little bit. And if they have any questions for us, the podcast, it could be questions for us individually, it could be questions for us as a collective. Luke, the floor is yours again, my friend. Is there anything you would like to specifically ask D or I or D and I? Rich Boy Plays? I don't know. We need to work on that, D. We need to work on that.
No, I have no questions. Move on.
Cool. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
That's it. No, I would say, what would your advice be to a new content creator like myself that's sort of entering into the world with, again, I'm not from a creation background. I'm just utilising my experiences within football to try and create something that's enjoyable for people to watch and maybe give a different spin on things. So what would your advice to me be in that regards? Or a new streamer in general?
No, it's a great question.
Yeah, I think the first thing is not to think of it from this point of view, because we just touched on it. Like, as far as streaming is, if you're confident enough to hit go live and can just play a game and enjoy yourself, stream to one person like you're streaming to 50. You've already succeeding. You're having a great time. You're playing a game. You're having fun. The one thing that I think can help is obviously know what your USP is, right? What is unique to you? And you already have the marvelous uniqueness of the fact that you've worked in football, right? You're playing a football game and worked in football. There was a guy about, I can't remember his username, it's going to really annoy me, but there was a guy, I think it was during FM23 that was streaming for a bit, and he was a scout at Lyngby in Denmark. But he was streaming FM, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, that's really interesting. What can you give us? Can you give us insights into the footballing world?" And he did all right for a bit, but then he just stopped. And I don't know if he stopped for personal reasons or work or whatever, but having that connection to real life football, you've almost lived quite a lot of our fantasies. You know that, don't you? That you've worked in real life football. So a lot of us are kind of like, "Oh, well, what was that like?" And you've got you've already drawn on it to a degree to help you succeed, because you've done the whole, you've done your tactics things. You've got a save planned around what you've experienced in real life. Lean into that maybe a little bit, but if you don't have a USP to lean into, mine's writing silly songs. That's what I've got going for me. So I write daft songs. But if you haven't got one, it is just play the games you enjoy, have fun doing it, and just be yourself as much as you can. I've noticed with too many people trying to be like too much of a character. Be a bit of a character, but don't be like if you had to be real all of a sudden, like you've had a bad day and you go from being like, "Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream," and then all of a sudden you're like, "Yeah, guys, I can't do that today. I don't have that energy." It's not going to work. People will go, "You're usually wacky. What's going on, Luke?" And you're like, "I've had a long day. I don't need that." So yeah, be yourself, have fun. Use football to your advantage and what you've learned, and it'll go great, I'm sure. Anything you want to add, Rich?
Whoa! Hey, God, no. I can't do that. Sorry, I just can't do this today. This isn't who I am. I don't even like Football Manager. It's all just coming out now. Oh God, can't put it back in. No, I think I was supposed to build on what Dee said, and also picking up on kind of like a lot of what you've already said before. I think just keep doing what you're doing, because it's, if you are in, like we said, if you're enjoying yourself, if you're enjoying being on camera, if you're enjoying talking to your audience, if you are enjoying that experience, then you're already doing it right. If you find it massively challenging, if you find yourself dreading pressing go live, then that's never a good sign. You know, it's not a fun thing that you should ever have to do, especially because it's your hobby. And that's the other thing as well. Unless this is the thing that pays your bills, unless you are a full-time content creator who the mortgage each month comes out of your bank account, that all your Twitch revenue goes into, it's a hobby in the nicest possible way. And if you're ever dreading doing it, maybe just don't do it. And that's not specific advice for you. I think that's just for anybody with any kind of hobby. You can have a night off. Yeah, you can have time off. Also, I mean, flip side of that coin, and I am the worst person in the world, the largest hypocrite of all the hypocrites to say this. I know what you're going to say. The more consistent you are, the better. Yeah, I have. That
was basically my follow-up question. Yeah. Like consistency with schedules. Where do you stand on that? Really? Yeah.
I try to have a schedule.
Try to have one. Do your absolute best to have one. Don't do as I say and not as I do.
Try to have a schedule, and I'd even go as far as to say this. If you've got like Discord groups that you're part of, or if you have your Discord that you have a section where you share it, put it in there, because then it's like, oh, now it's out there, so now I'm responsible for doing that, as opposed to like might be live, might not, because then also as well your audience will know what time you're going to go live, and then it's exactly the same as you think of like when we were all younger, 6 o'clock, Simpsons. We know the Simpsons is coming on, so you're all on TV waiting for the Simpsons to start, or it's you become the regular viewing, and that's nice. Become someone's Simpsons, Luke. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, paint yourself yellow, Luke. That's what we're getting. That's the move. Can you play the saxophone? No, it's key. I think it really is key. And as the world's most inconsistent streamer for the vast majority of my time on the platform, it's always been something that I am frustrated with myself for not being able to be more consistent with. Now, the vast majority of my inconsistencies when it's come to things like streaming have been due to real life commitments. You know, I've got a wife and I've got 2 kids, and sometimes the stars don't align, and that Monday or that Thursday night or wherever it may be that you put aside to try and stream, it might not always be available to you. But if you can carve out that little bit of time for yourself on the regs, it helps enormously, because like this, people know when to expect you. They know what's going on, and that is half the battle. And the more people see of your face, the more people get to know you, the more time they have to invest in you as a person. And like Dee says, you have got such a wonderful story, and there's so much that you can do with your lived experience in the world of football that has the potential to transfer so well to this space and to people that watch Football Manager content, whether that's on Twitch or however they're getting their updates on what it is that you have done or what you're going to be doing. It's a really, really exciting opportunity. And like I say, just lean really, really heavily into it, as Dee says, but at the same times, on the same days each week. And I think you'll be on to an absolute winner. I think you will, because I'm looking forward to, if and when, and I'm absolutely not saying just abandon Wolves immediately, which Dee is thinking. He's like, just leave Wolves now.
I've thought
Get
about
out
it the whole time you've been here, Luke. I can't not think it.
Leave Wolverhampton. But I'm not saying you should do that under any set circumstances. But this journeyman that you've got planned, going to the countries that you've been to and that you've coached, amazing. What an idea! And again, I'm travelling around to an arbitrary set of countries from the lyrics to a 90s pop song. You know, it's great. It's wonderful.
It really does put it in a bit of perspective.
Last year, I came up with a pun based on a band that I actively don't really like, and then just made it work for 18 months. Like, you know, I'll wing it, but you've got story, you've got plot, you've got narrative, you've got direction, and that in and of itself, again, is massive, because you're not just ambling around the world of football, seeing what's going to happen next. You've got a plan, and just lean into it, mate, because it's going well for you already, and it's got the potential to go as well for a longer period of time. So I'm excited to see what happens with you, just in terms of this space. Like I say, the people that I've spoken to about you, they've all spoken very kindly of you, which is, again, a really nice thing to be able to say. So just keep at it, mate. That's the best advice I can give as somebody who really hasn't gone anywhere in terms of their content creation. You're asking the wrong man. Now, yeah, exactly. I can't say to people I've got JJ Okocha's phone number. I don't even know if you've got it, but you can pretend. He's changed it since the mid 2000s.
I really appreciate the sentiments and the kind words, gents. And as obviously as 2 streamers that have spent a lot of time sort of within the chat, obviously you're always looking on ways to get better at things. And I think that, you know, I appreciate you putting out great streams as well. That, you know, obviously serves as a purpose for new streamers like myself coming in to learn off and to work off. So no, I really appreciate it. Yeah. And you said about the time of distance I've been listening to the pod is a reminder. I've made a note of it here. Episode 94. I did it my Norway and then Sweden and then Denmark. So that was the first episode that I listened to. Yes.
Good Lord.
Wow.
Yeah. Good Lord. Oh, you'd have loved it when it, Luke. You'd have loved it when it was good before before they let me get involved. I just tanked it, and then I had to bring. That's why I had to bring in Dee and Jeb and Stake, everybody else, just to save this. No, that's lovely. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening, which is a really weird thing to say to somebody, but no, we appreciate that as well. That's very, very cool. And it's nice that you've been able to come on and share your story with us. It's been amazing. I don't know about the 2 of you fellas, but that feels very much to me like a podcast. I
felt very poddy.
It did. I don't know about you, dear. I've had a nice time chatting with a new friend this evening, so it's been great. It's been good.
What a great time.
It's been cracking. So before we wrap this up, Luke, it's been our pleasure. Before we wrap this up, Luke, again, the floor is yours. Please tell the audience where they can find you managing Wolves and at some point going on this wonderful journey around world football, replicating your own footsteps.
So on X, it's RealLifeLukeFM, and on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/RealLifeLukeFM. RealLifeLukeFM, because I'm a real life football manager. Yeah, there we go.
And you exist. There you go. It's worked.
And I
It's
exist.
doubly good branding. Doubly good branding. It's been sat chatting to two empty chairs. It's great. Everyone's a figment of my imagination. D, if you're real.
I am.
Hello.
Hypothetical D-boy plays. That's me.
Hypothetical D-boy plays. Where can the people find you, D-balls, with your brand new computer and your things and your new songs that are coming out?
I know. I've got so many shiny new things. They can find me on twitch.tv/dboyplays.
Hooray! Hooray! Flamingo's really good, by the way.
Cheers, dear. I wrote it after your DM.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You can never sell Ryan Flamingo now. It's really helping with the branding.
Yep, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, he'll stay forever. Look, if it helps you at all,
if you can
mate,
find a striker whose surname is Avalanche, that would be really helpful.
Well, I mean, look, I've got that new lad at Everton, Gao Sheng. So if you want to, we could just keep this going. We can just keep this going.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
now
people
going
will
through
find
my
you,
squad
Rich.
alphabetically, just checking for anybody. Isaac Price. Oh, D. This is happening. This is
it's working.
Jordan Pickford.
You've signed all of my songs. What's going on here?
I've signed the alphabet. Karupi. Oh my god. We're making this work. We're absolutely making
If
this work.
people want to look at your alphabet team in
Yes.
Merseyside, based off a song by the Beautiful South, where can they find you, Rich?
Twitch.tv/Rich Owens FM. That's where they can find me. And my goodness, I'm so excited to play Football Manager, guys. This is such a really nice
Have
thing.
you been playing while we've been chatting?
I've had it open in front of me while we've been chatting, but I haven't actively been playing it. It's been cracking. Also, twitch.tv/Jabberoo and twitch.tv/The Steak Bake. If and when he finds the go live button. You might have seen, just before we start, just before we say our proper goodbyes, you might have seen, if you are a member of the FMT Discord, you might have seen a little update from our lovely friend Jeb this week. Jeb is, to the surprise of nobody, the world's busiest man. He is between working flat out, like he does like 10, 12 day stints in a row. As well as that, he's also trying to move house at the moment. So my goodness gracious me. He's so busy. He's so busy. As a result of that, we are kind of not really in a position to be regularly network gaming at the moment. So as and when the opportunity arises, we will let everybody know on the social media. This is important. This is why it's important to be consistent, Luke. Never move house is my advice.
never
move
that.
house.
Never.
Never.
Don't have a job that requires you to work consistent days.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmare.
It's too much.
Nightmare. So Jeb is taking a little break from pod for a few weeks while he gets all of his bits and pieces in order in real life and works dead hard. But he will be back. We love him and we miss him. Love you, Jeb.
Yeah.
But we'd never say it to your face because you scare us.
Yeah.
With you, Dave.
Probably say something mean to one of us as well. So.
He'd say something so mean to one of us because that's what he does, but that's how you know he really likes you. There we go. So there's Jeb, there's that, there's streaming, there's a podcast, I reckon. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Dee. And especially thank you to you, Luke, for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime, pal. Anytime. And also thank you, the audience, for watching, for listening, for however you are consuming this podcast. We really appreciate you. We've missed you terribly these last 2 weeks, and it's a real treat to be back. We'll probably do this again next week, I reckon. Seems like the thing to do, doesn't it? Seems like the thing to do. Until then, we appreciate you enormously, and we'll see you on the next episode of Football Manager Therapy. But until then, take care. Love you lots. Luke, do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, it's me, Cupby. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I tried for a little while. Hey, you know Cupburger. It's a mutual aid fund created by us for us to take care of our needs. Folks have been applying for grants, getting paid out. Folks have been donating, giving us money every month. We're so grateful. This has been really cool work, and we've met a lot of need already. However, there are some projects that we've been wanting to address that are above our monthly cap allowance. So we've created special projects, and we're launching special projects. If you have a need that is more than our monthly allowance, get in touch. Admins will get in touch with you. We can help you set up a GoFundMe, and Cupburger will be paying out up to 50%. So these are just burgers that look like, anyway, don't get distracted. Up to 50% of our income every month will be paid out to special projects who we have partnered with until those projects' needs are met. Meaning, you may see new chat commands in chat that tell you to go direct to a GoFundMe if you want to give someone money. That's because they're a Cupburger partner, and Cupburger is working with them to fulfill their crowdsourcing needs. Special projects, now a part of Cupburger. Give money. Apply. Cupburger. Have a great day. Bye.